Okay. Oh, how about you go to the right monitor? That's fine. Hello, guys. How are you doing? Okay. Ooh. Not as much done in the last couple of days as I wanted to. Wasn't very productive yesterday. Um, so I'm kind of going through the steps of trying to get the GitHub integration to work now. So I got the Kafka extensions changes made. Those are all published now. So now I have the concept of an envelope around a message. And then I've built in the ability to wrap any message um, in the system with an envelope and provide the corresponding codec for it. The codec allows you to put the fields around it. So yeah, um, realistically, I'm only going to use one of these per system. I'm not going to create different envelopes or envelope codecs for different parts of the system right now, but it's it's available to me. And when I'm working on right this second is making sure I'm publishing the right information on the branch. So when a branch is created in GitHub, we get a webhook and we get a create webhook. What I do is I create this workflow. The workflow does a few things. First, we determine whether we've already actioned this one. So if a webhook fires again and we've logged that we've in the idempotency log, we make sure that we don't try and run it again. Conflict doesn't really matter. I'm not using anything on the other side. This is more if I want to add logging or add anything that gives me metrics on these things happening later, I can do that and know that that's the thing. I then check to see if the installation ID being passed in by that webhook is linked to us. Like we've created an organization. So do we have a connection identifier? Do we have an organization and does that organization have a connection identifier? Connection identifier means that the other side has come along and linked it. So it's a complete connection. And then we publish the created event. This is straight to Kafka, or rather the Kafka outbox. This will publish the envelope with the surrounding information, including the event name. This is what we're going to use on the other side to line it up. And now the payload of that event, which is the actual GitHub branch created. Version, I'm not going to use version right this second, but it was advised to use that. I'm leaving it in there because I want to see how I might use that. Yeah, and there we go. So that's the GitHub side of things. This should end up being published, and I have registered the GitHub branch created. So the way that I configured this is you still use the internal type. The envelope doesn't matter. The producer and consumer will deal with the fact that it's an envelope message. So the actual message published will be the GitHub branch created message, and the headers on it will tell the consumer, oh, by the way, because the shape of each Kafka message here will look different, but the headers will tell me what it actually is. Battling. Um, on the other side now, we go to receive that. We'd receive this envelope with the JSON element, and we've got this type resolver, and this here will come out as this would be like GitHub branch created. This would be the event. The actual type resolver is configured when we set up uh, the type resolver there. So I know what to resolve. So again, the name of, as long as I use this pattern, I'll be fine. So what I was working on is now handling the GitHub part of tasks. So this is kind of a workflow because I need to first determine whether the branch being passed follows, right? So is there um, XS 101 XPM 50 like 513. These are the references. So this would be the project, and then so the reference format is understood. As long as you use that method, it should be fine. And I think I also make sure that it'll handle an underscore there. So if you do decide to do XM513, that'll also match. And it'll look in the repository, the description, the name. I don't think repository would necessarily be required. Yeah, I might remove. I'm going to remove that one. Repository. Repository on the other side. I can't share this on screen, but repository should be like create workflow, webhook processor. Yeah, that's the full name of the repository. The reference is the branch. So I probably don't need to do that. Branch repositories of parameters, name. So name and description are all I really need. Description comes through with, yeah, the create event. So, yeah, I can remove that on the other side. There's no point trying to, the repository is never going to match that pattern. So here I just create this extension method for getting out the reference. And now if we don't find one, then it's there. uh, I just got a text from my daughter saying, by the way, your stream message said Happy Monday. Cool. So we determine if we can match it. We then try and find the task by the reference. So for that tenant, again, different tenants, etc., could have the same project names. One second. Okay. So if we find the task, so we'll probably flip that again. then we associate the branch with the task. And this is the next piece. So this is kind of where I'm at now. What I'm trying to determine is what do I need to pass in here for this to be useful? So I need to create a table on Kaizu. So I think that what we're going to do here is we're going to publish a branches topic, and we're going to publish branch references in the task. So the task is going to get updated. We'll add a branch, and then we'll associate it. So likelihood is we'll create a branch, and then associate it. Because the branch could be associated with many tasks. No, it can't. It's one-to-one with that task. Many branches could be associated to one task. So, yeah. So if we did um, like I'm not looking to create I don't need the commit history here. I just need to know that the branch has been pushed. Obviously, later on, I'll deal with what happens if the branch doesn't exist and I've got for some reason I didn't get the webhook message. So tenant identifier, task ID, repo, full name. So this, so the Claude documentation, the Claude read of the documentation suggests that GitHub's description field on the create webhook, yes, this exists, but it's only populated for tag creation events, not branches. For branches, it's always null. They may have fixed that because I see a description. But that being said, the description actually doesn't matter. Now I see it because the description is of the repository. So yeah, that's an interesting thing. So what would be the? I know that push. I can't show this on screen, by the way, because it does have stuff that would. Yeah, stuff that would cause a problem. Commits. Okay. Interesting. So the challenge I have is that um, it would be nice to not just require the branch naming. So if you mention the task in the description in a PR in a commit, sorry, not a PR, that you also pick that up. So the branch, yeah, the branch absolutely doesn't have that. So there's no point in that event having that at all. Um, your branch created. There's absolutely no purpose in that field there. So remove that. That's the description of the repository, not the description of the commit. Is that it? Is that all I needed it for? Sure, this changes as well. It does if I actually remove the field. I can remove that one. We don't get created by login. Oh, right. Okay. So what it's saying is we capture the created by login. Uh, is deleted. You'll get a delete webhook when someone removes a branch from GitHub decision point. Do you delete the row or keep it with a flag? Hmm. So, hmm. So, Stoney, hello. How you doing? Um, few fields that might be tempted but probably don't belong. The repo ID, the commit char, his default branch, don't care about. Yeah, yeah. Did I do anything nice after work? My wife and daughter went and uh, got dinner, and we ate together. Um, so I had a steak, which is my kind of like weekly uh, or bi-weekly red meat. Um, that was good. And I had a slice of cake for dessert. It's pretty good. And I got two new video games, or three new video games actually, or new to me video games, retro games. So yeah, it was a good day. Yeah, I planned originally not to put interviews in yesterday, and ended up with three. So I had a busy day. However, might be a stream tomorrow because I do have the day off, and um, yeah, so might pick a stream up tomorrow morning depending on how much progress I make with this today. So, yeah, I chose to take Friday off rather than take my birthday off midweek. That would, yeah, yeah. I'm a nerd, absolutely. So this would be, let's do, missing essentials including one thing that doesn't exist, the corrected shape. Um, I'll be right back. Doggo's now wanting. Have a data center on fire in your backyard? That doesn't sound positive. Actual data center? Okay. Oh, nice. That's rough. Got woken up by your neighbours. Well, go lay down, bud. No, no, you clearly don't want food right this second. So go lay down. Come on, muffin. Come on. Someone's got an upset belly, hasn't he? Yeah. Yeah, to see it. What does an Amber Alert mean for you? Is that just like anything to be aware of in your neighbourhood or in your area? Gotcha. This is task branches. The loud, unavoidable sound. Yeah. Well, Amber Alert here means a child has been kidnapped. Silver Alert is an elderly person has gone missing. Or an Amber Alert is a child has gone missing, not necessarily kidnapped, but gone missing. Yeah, your phone just lights up. Loki, lay down, buddy. Lay down now. Come on. Come on. Lay down. You said you didn't want the cookie. Got a sensitive stomach. I am talking to Loki. I'm just not talking to myself, by the way. It's funny. Oh my goodness me. I'm just familiar with the terminology of America, so calling it that usually doesn't need more information. Gotcha. I just wanted to clarify because, again, um, don't need activity. Do I? I'm trying to determine whether I need to follow a, a guide from. So what I've been doing with this GitHub thing is to try and keep me on task and to try and keep a track of things. I have been using Claude quite heavily to kind of walk through some of the ideas and make sure that I'm not drifting off. And actually, what I've found is Claude is drifting off more often than I am on the concepts. So it introduces brand new concepts halfway through my design, even in the same context. Um, so I've been trying to make sure that I have to check over everything because it's got inserted fields that didn't exist in the previous request. No, it can be for anything region wide. They're doing it when the alarm services stampede. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine a lot of people call in to tell people a big building is on fire, right? So I can see why that would be useful. Okay. Yeah, it just completely flip flopped on its previous message. Okay. One pre-flight screen. Um, so if the whole city calls 112 for smelling fire and seeing the clouds citywide. Yeah. Okay. Well, your data center, what's the worst happen? You lose a bit of data? There's redundancy, right? You hope. Um, what I'm finding is as I start to use the AI to do some of this stuff, I'm less confident about making change. And that's not something I'm happy to say. Like I feel less inclined to use to do it myself because the tool is guiding me in a certain direction. And I'm not using the tool to develop this. Like I'm not using the tool to develop the code. I don't want to. But at the same time, it's making me feel uncomfortable to the point of feeling stuck on my own decisions. So just sharing that. What we need to do is pay more attention. So task branches is our table. No, I don't want to. It's not something I'm willing to do still. I use it enough. Um, I just started using it for this particular process because there's a lot of moving parts, and I wanted to try and make it more consistent and try and help myself with the drift. And what I found is it's less consistent across the time, even with the same context um, and all the reference available. It's yeah. Task branch long ID. I think that is yeah. That's a big in yeah because task can be big in public period identifier. I'm going to build it out this way for a second. Actually, we're not going to build it this way. That is a good point. So what I'm trying to determine right this second is task, like task branches will be a thing, right? Virtual I collection, task branch, branches, right? That's a thing. A single task could have many branches. A single branch can only have one task. Sure, that's clear. Um, yeah, this will always have a task. The the question is, do I care about any actions performed against that? Like, does that does that really matter here? So the AI is like immediately, oh, we're going to do DDD. So here you go. Here's an actual aggregate with a bunch of behavior on it um, that will suit your need, like record activity, and it's just recording the fact that some activity happened and updating it, and mark it as deleted. Which does kind of make sense. Hate, I hate the amount of comments. I get why it does it, but I still hate the fact that it's all commented. It makes so much noise on an object that should be understood. So we'll say one thing: the AI just gave me a model, and it gave me something to think about in terms of my design. So my objects right this second have private backing variables for everything, right? So there's a private backing variable for a public property, so that um, you can get the values, but you can't change the values without a specific method of behavior attached to it. But the AI has just given me a private set. I suppose it would. Ah, okay. Well, that's something that I wasn't aware of earlier on. Okay. So I can probably change all these to be a little bit more readable. So what it's given me is, I love this. What's this? So it gave me this now, right? In the previous example, it called it task branch. Now it calls it task branch reference. Interesting. Okay. It can be made. We're calling that task branch. This is interesting. Because it's private, you can do it this way. Interesting. My normal standard is create there, so we'll call create. We don't have that right this second. We don't have that right this second. There's no point. So then we're going to have configurations, task, branch, mission, task, branches. The naming convention stuff will uh, deal with that piece. We have ID. Actually, let's make sure that lines up. So this is the model that it had me create. Still hate that that's called repo full name. I get that we abbreviate it, but it still irks me. Identify task ID. Okay, it's consistent. There we go. Okay, so now we do this is going to be the horrible part. Await sender dot send. So var branch equals Oh no, we don't need to do it that way. The branch. This is not associate branch workflow. This is more register branch workflow. And then this is lock these fields plus task ID. So we need long task ID. That needs to go in there. Let's see how that feels. So this is going to be task.id identifier. I mean, task ID technically gives me a tenant, so that's kind of interesting that it still did that. Parameters dot installation. Okay. So first we validate it, we make sure it can go against the branch, we identify the task that it's going to link to. Again, tenant identifier is kind of dumb here because I suppose I could find all branches for a tenant without needing to link to the task, but this database is not really one I care about being queried. So that's an interesting one. So register branch in here now, this is going to be a repository of task branch. Um, Now in here, task branch.create, and then await async. So create is going to be why do you still think that's a why do you think that's a task? Uh, yeah, it went off the rails. I'm not messing with that. That's so they don't get the same things. However, I want, do I want that? See, I want to track, I don't want to have observed that. So do we pick pushed at? Do we pick create at? Let's do pushed at. Okay. Command dot name. Right, that creates that. What? What? Hold on. Repository name, branch name. So reference here is the branch name. I think we need to go back to where we publish and make this a little bit clearer. Repository and name. Okay, so that comes through the event. So this event here will have repository and name. So when I call this workflow, I've lost that thing. So, no, hold on. The repository. Okay, that starts to clear it up. Well, don't need description anymore. Don't need that in the register branch because we don't need that there. So we don't need that. Don't need that. Installation reference identifier. Hmm. So the question there is, do I validate that I've got an installation? Rambling Geek, good afternoon. How you doing? Do I validate that I've got an installation? Is that a responsibility of any action here? Probably not. If you uninstall it, or if you disable the feature, one of those days I'm grumpy for no reason, lol. I get that. So there's tests available to me here, which I should probably take. Concerning um, concerning uh, register branch. Uh, when no match is found, um, no reference not description though. That's interesting because I know that Jira does if you put the branch reference in the name in the descriptions as well in the commit messages, it will um, it will link it. I suppose that would only happen on a push thereafter, um, because the commits contain that. The branch create doesn't. So in this case, registering a branch, then that's all we care about. So when no branch, no class reference in name, that um, um, result is conflict. So here we would do which birthday I went. My birthday was okay. A lot of work. Had some nice food last night. It was good. Um, Taking tomorrow off. So, and no one's home. So, well, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it was my birthday yesterday. Thank you. I had three yesterday. They were good. Yeah. I know there's a lot of smart people out there. Did you miss that somewhere? No, I didn't. I didn't post it or say anything. So yeah, all good. I didn't. I mentioned it last week. um, yeah. Uh, 46. Oof. So what we want to do here is, let's hope not. We need to do override, arrange, and we need a private register branch workflow subject, and then the subject new. This needs an iSender, private iSender. Equals substitute dot for. So that's our mock. Read I repository of path. repository. We need to give it sender and then repository. And then override act async. And then we will await subject.execute async new parameters. I should just probably make that record. It'll probably be much smoother. It'll work out much smoother as a record. It means it's implicitly required then, right? I don't have to mess around with the design too much. Cleans it up a little bit. Replace get set equals that's fine. Whoa. Whoa, maybe. I'm reading that. I did not see that. Maybe. Thank you very much for the 10 subs. I apologize. I would have been way more thankful if I'd have seen my screen. Sorry. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Wow. Anwin, Dan, Rumbling Geek, Junicus, Frank, Stony. Wow, that's... And thank you for the follow. Go check. Wow, maybe. Thank you so much. You didn't need to do that. Wow. There's some good people in there. And Stony. Oldie but it's a goodie. Okay, there we go. I want to see something cute. Is it stream appropriate? Okay, well this got a lot shorter, didn't it? This got a lot less mess. Repository user push that, yeah. That's awesome. Oh dear. Yeah. Okay. So this got a lot cleaner. So let's do back to that. Yeah, has to be. That's pretty impressive. Bring um, what? Oh, sure. What are you doing? I've been Postgres. Ugh. Oh, nice. I mean, I would imagine birds are kind of similar in size. maybe it's kind of, but that's impressive. Does that mean you're doing a droid stream this weekend? Branch name equals no reference. Yeah, private read only string user equals nice. Push start equals new. You can just do. I think that's functional equivalent of doing that. Deliberately not using UTC there, by the way. Okay. So then we pass in parameters. Tenant identifier, GitHub repo name, branch name, user, push that. Yep. No, where's Rolling? So what we're doing is we are saying that private result no, that's that one. And we're saying that equals that, and we want result dot status dot is result status dot conflict. That's what we care about right this second. Do you build and run? I don't think you'll build and run. If you are new to the stream, interesting. If you are new to the stream and you have any questions, thoughts, opinions on what I'm doing, please feel free. The stream is not about me necessarily coding, it's more about the sharing what I'm building and being able to talk about it. So you are more than welcome to ask questions. So we passed in parameters name. We got not found, not conflict. I suppose not found makes sense, doesn't it? Result is not found. And so this we can get not found from two ways there, right? We can get not found. Oh, that's interesting. Expected conflict. Oh, just changing the test description does not change the expected outcome. Surprise. Okay. When reference but no matching task is our second test. So rather than waste a bunch of time, we're going to do that, and all these stay similar. Arrange at async. The only thing is the reference is um, um, uh, um, branch name is feature slash FT101. Right, so that should match um, task. We should validate the reference against the task. So made. So repository dot birthday for async dot received. Birthday for async. The problem with this style is I can't do I can't be specific because the way that this test framework is built, I mean the tooling etc. works, is I can't test to see if I passed this particular object with, because the constructor parameters are what determines this. It's all done on construction. If I changed how I deal with the spec, maybe, but I can't validate that a constructor was past these parameters. So I have to trust that it's going to call the right thing and try and find tests that disprove. So this is task by reference for tenant spec arg.any cancellation token. So the difference with this one over the other one is I'm going to have a reference, so this should be called. Okay, so in this case, we did, at least we called that, is we validated, we received that. And if we do did not receive, just to prove the test is running, and because obviously I'm not doing TDD here, I'm doing testing after the fact. Yeah, expected to receive no calls, received one, so we can validate that works. Okay. When task is found, that so let's do when task is found, copy that again. Feature FT101. Result is success. That branch, register branch. The way this is working, this is receiving this event on the GitHub side. So it's just inserting the register branch. There's no actual result that needs to be handled. That would only be a response. Roger, good morning. And Hamza, what's simple enough mean there in respect to what? Did I say that's simple enough? Oh, simple enough. Oh, sorry, yes. So this is a measure of complexity. It's kind of a guide that a method is getting out of hand. This is cognitive complexity. This is a plugin in Rider. If I find a more complicated piece, actually this might have, yeah, see that's 10%. So there's not a lot of branches, there's not a lot of options. So cognitive complexity and brain just went blank on the other one. They're both kind of measures of the difficulty of the maintainability of your code. I do have some messier ones. Yeah, Fons, hello, how you doing? No, there is a plugin. Plugin complexity. Cyclomatic is the other one, yeah. So cognitive and cyclomatic complexity. Cyclomatic complexity is a jet-based plugin, but this one, cognitive complexity, um, they don't necessarily match up 100%, but they both give you indicators that your code is getting a little bit too complicated. If you've got a lot of branches in that code, long lines, etc., the more difficult it is to read. So yeah, and thank you for the follow, Animafic. So yeah, um, if any more questions, feel free to ask. The stream is not about me being productive; it is purely about me just sharing coding. So I'm open to talk. Okay. Right. Today isn't Wednesday. To begin, happy belated. I thought yesterday was Tuesday. Nope. Nope. Today's Thursday. So, well, thank you, Mojo. Um, so what we're validating here is that we want sender dot receive dot send arg dot is. This one I can actually validate that I got a command. So arg is command, and that is register branch dot command, and that looks like command goes to command dot task ID equals task ID, and command dot tenant identifier equals tenant identifier. So we're validating that we're going to pass everything as expected. Repository and GitHub repo name equals branch name, and command dot user equals user. That's all I need. Arg dot any cancellation token. Private read only. Long task ID equals what's the other one? So we want to validate that we call register branch. That will fail because we don't do that yet. We don't return a result, a task. Interesting, we get result is success though. Oh yeah, of course. We get result is success because we hit that point in the code. Right? Register branch workflow. So because it dummies this up. No, hold on. Why doesn't that fail? Why does that? Because it didn't change that. I hate that. So result you do return result.success, which amounts to result status.ok. If memory serves. It was my birthday yesterday. Yes. Grand old age of 46. Thank you. So, okay, so we need to do that. So the way we need to do this is in the arrange, what we'll set up is repository dot first default arg any um, it is all good. Register branch workflow, we need that, that. Returns, um, object builder, build entity task, new. Do I have a task? I do have a task fixture. So that's interesting. I do it that way. We might do it that way. It saves me some time. So what you can do is I class fixture of valid task fixture. Actually, that doesn't need to be there, does it? That can go over there. That can also be called task fixtures. And then you do task fixture, fixture. You insert that there. And now in here, you can do, sorry, fixture dot valid task, task status dot in progress, say, because that will be correct. And now you can specify, oh, the one thing I can't specify. Five, six, seven, a fun birthday. I feel like it's no. 567 was pretty much the polar opposite of a fun birthday. It stood out though. You are right. It definitely stood out, and I will share that with you, the why with you later. But yeah, it was the polar opposite of a fun birthday. It did stand out. I promise you that. Um, what am I doing here? Oh, I was going to create a private task. Oh, is that a system threading task? Is that okay? It's got the right one. Task. So task equals that. That becomes that. That becomes. I think this will create a. Yeah. Oh, so that was a follow just to be able to spam a message. Animatic, if you are actually posting that, if you are real, I'll do that again. If you are not, I'm sure it will post again and you will get banned. A follow for the sake of being able to post a message seems deliberate rather than automated. What are you whining about? Yeah, that's fine. ID equals random. Do I want to do it that way? Do I want to assign an ID? Why don't I do it this way? I clearly started this path, didn't I? Because basically what's going to happen is the tooling is going to complain that I've got too many parameters in a method. So what you do is you create a class or a record or something that takes all those parameters, because it doesn't really care about that because you can do as many as you want in there, and then you insert the class. So it's kind of a, yeah. It's one of the same identifier issue we had a few years ago, the random ID. That's what's gonna create a problem here. So, well, no, because the problem is in this case I'm actually using the shared ID, not the identifier. But the random won't matter if neither of them will matter if I'm tracking this, right? So as long as they're consistent, it's fine. It's just I need to think through ID equals new random dot get next. Fine. As long as it's consistent, it really doesn't matter. So let's find out. Okay, so we did get success. Interesting. Task ID. let's cap that a little bit. 20,000. That's irrelevant. Okay, there we go. Expected to match a call. Received 918 10 identifier, repository name, branch name. Repository name and branch name are flipped. That's why. So they're correct there. They're correct there. They're incorrect there. And that's what unit testing is for. That is a textbook case of why unit testing is useful. I'd flipped parameters somewhere in that path. Okay, so that means that now we will call register branch. This will create the branch, and we're good. What this doesn't account for is the events that I need to publish to make sure that branch makes it to the rest of the system, and that's the challenge. So the way this is working right this second is GitHub, a new frame. In the client, I say link GitHub account. It opens a dialog. It allows me to select the organization or the personal account that we're linking it to. That gets stored in organization management. At the same time, our webhook gets invoked that calls back to our webhook handler and says, oh, create a branch. This one publishes an event to Kafka to say, a GitHub thing has been registered. We link it up there. When a branch is created, sorry, we publish an event saying a branch is created. In the tasks side of things, we receive that event because we need to see does it link to an actual task that we have, rather than do that in the view, right? Could do it in the view, but the tasks it is information that's relevant to the task. So at this point now, we would have a branch registered for a task. You could have many branches for a single task. Different repos across your projects could refer to the same exact task. Again, if we're touching Foundation and Liquid Sky and Rex at the same time for the same set of functionality, all three of those branches exist. Right? So we'd register each branch in there. And now what I need to do is turn around and publish the fact that that branch is associated so that the view can pick it up and now display, oh, by the way, there's a branch linked here. This is the first time I've actually hit this complicated, well, not the first time. The other complication is the changes stuff. But in a long while, this is the first time I'm coming up against this in a long while where I've got this complicated flow of events actually creating things. And again, the Kafka side of things is a little bit more complicated because I'm going to put all the GitHub events in a single topic. It's one of the first times I'm coming up against that. So that is progress. Okay, so that being said, what next? So what I got to figure out this second is when I call the registered branch, do I publish an event from here to say a branch has been registered? I suppose I do. Is it? If we're doing it this way though, the curious thing is, why do I have a task ID? Generally, what I've done is in the modules, the actual behavior, the actual application modules, I've kind of not created relationships most of the time. It means that querying out that data is not as important, not as necessary. So if I'm going to publish something as an entity, then the relationships exist. So the only reason to have task ID on here would be if I'm publishing this from a task perspective. But I don't change task in this particular flow. I only change the branch of the task. And this is where talking with AI is going to throw me off because I have a design, I have a style and a pattern. I'm not going to put the AI tooling in here because it's already made an attempt to change. It didn't make an attempt, but in terms of this discussion, it would have already changed quite a lot of how I did things to fit an existing kind of structure that it has. So I got to think through this one. Darren, good morning. Hope you are well. Yeah, I'm sorry. There is a high likelihood I will be on streaming tomorrow morning for quite a while. I have the day off tomorrow. It is my day off. So the likelihood is I'll probably stream for 3 or 4 hours, maybe tomorrow. Either way, it'll be a bit longer than an hour and a half, but it will be probably likely a stream. So, Yeah. So what I've got to do here is I've just got to debate whether I am publishing a task branch or whether I publish a task with a reference to a branch as well. But I have no reason to change the, the branch or the task at this point. I'd have to make a case for that. But if I do it this way, I don't want to. Task ID means nothing externally, so I have to publish. I have to put the task identifier in there, not the task ID. So it means that I have to query the task branch out and join the relevant task to be able to achieve that. So it's just a bit of a weird one for me, um, but not impossible because the specification is just going to be um, task branch by identifier. Oh, that's another thing. Did I put one of them on there? Yes. Okay. So task branch by identifier spec. So this would be a specification of a task branch, I single result specification task branch, and then ctor period identifier, and this would be query.where t dot. Oh, goodness me. Oh, yeah, it completely screwed this up. Again, it's inserted its own opinions on how I would do this into this. So yeah, one napalm. So that's a problem. That's a massive problem. Mm. So that would be that piece. But now we get to task GitHub branch workflow. So we register the branch. You have to create a domain event in here that is um, ah, there's a keyboard shortcut and I can never remember it for turning on insert on this, and I always screw it up. There you go. Option insert. There's the Windows insert. Okay, interesting. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to call it there because I do have to get ready for work. Um, Basically, I think what I'm going to do is uh, create. Yeah, so this is an entity base. No, unfortunately, can't do the whole 2 hour streams anymore. Um, okay, so that'll remove that and that, which does solve that problem. That what the? I have no idea what I've just changed, but apparently I've put it in column mode. Oh well, interesting. Um, well, yes. So I will likely be back tomorrow. Tomorrow morning around the same starting time, probably for several hours. Um, hopefully I'll get some of this done this evening, where I can get the task branch working. The goal again would be to get this now on the. I can't show it because it's now blank because everything's stopped. But the goal would be to get your list of branches on your tasks. So now we can start associating tasks with branches. And that way, when the release stuff comes around, we can say, okay, there's pending PRs against a branch, against a task. That's kind of, this is the goal of all this. So yeah. Oh, cool. Okay. Well, then I will I will raid us out today. The other day I felt really bad dropping, like, I think it was like 20 people, and I just stopped the stream. There's no one to raid. Your own is raiding, so I'm going to take you to a co-working stream. We can lurk. Your own is uh, just sat there listening to music, and so it's a good place to go and hang out. Um, if you are interested, if he streams, if Rambling Geek streams, he does things like robotics and tinkering with toys and doing all sorts of random stuff. I highly recommend going and checking his stream out. He doesn't do coding all the time, doesn't do robotics all the time, but he does do fun tinkering stuff. And it's a good place to go and hang out with him. Deflux, thank you for joining. So yes. Anyway, let's go see your own, and I will be back tomorrow morning as a special stream. I'll see you later. Take care all. Have a great day. Thank you.